two congressmen filed separate House bills on Friday that together would legalize, regulate, and tax marijuana at the federal level. So this is historic, and this is fantastic, and they're doing what we've been screaming at them to do for the longest time here. They say, quote, Representative Jared Polis, a Democrat of Colorado, introduced the Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol Act, which would remove marijuana from the Controlled Substances Act, transfer oversight of the substance from the DEA over to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and regulate marijuana in a way similar to how alcohol is currently regulated. Representative Earl Blumenauer, a Democrat of Oregon, introduced the Marijuana Tax Revenue Act, which would set up a federal excise tax for regulated marijuana. So what this would do is it would change the current structure of the system, which makes it so that marijuana is still illegal on a federal level. We just happen to be under an administration that says, all right, I'll largely let the states do what they want on this issue. But the problem is the next administration that comes in, if they're conservative Republican or just a Democrat who's on the wrong side of this issue, they could just say, fuck it, crack down again. They don't have to do anything legally. All they have to do is say, just go crack down. Yeah, I want law enforcement to go after legal weed in all the states because it's still technically illegal because federal law overrides state law. So we're just banking on the goodwill of the Obama administration right now. I mean, if a hostile administration comes in, we're done. So they're trying to change the laws to make it so that the next administration wouldn't just easily be able to reverse what we're doing right now on the issue of weed. Huffington Post says, quote, the bills would not force states to legalize marijuana, but a federal regulatory framework would be in place for those states that do decide to legalize it. To date, 4 states have legalized recreational marijuana, and 23 states have legalized marijuana for medical purposes. Now, again, let me be clear about that. Those 4 states legalized it, but on a federal level, it's still illegal, and if the federal government chooses, they could just take it away in a second. Same with the medical marijuana. I mean, weed is categorized as a Schedule I drug with no accepted medicinal properties. That's total bullshit, but that's the federal categorization. So if the government decided to crack down on the 23 states that have legal medical marijuana, they could do it like that. Again, it's just the whims of the executive branch right now and the judicial branch right now. That's what we're banking on, which is not okay. This is why you need action to change it, and they're trying to do that. So here's the most interesting line in the article. They say, quote, with marijuana legalization supported by a majority of Americans and a new wave of states considering loosening their marijuana laws over the next several years, it seems unlikely that the federal government would push back against the popular movement, but it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a difficult question, and that's an interesting point. I mean, if the trends of history and the tides of history hold true, this will be similar to the gay rights movement, and this will be similar to the civil rights movement in the sense that once the wave started, there was no stopping it, and eventually the right side won, the correct side won. It could be an issue like that, or this could be an absolute disaster, and we could have President Chris Christie or President Jeb Bush who decides, I'm going balls to the wall in the other direction, and I'm going to crack down on this the second I get elected. So there are a lot of question marks surrounding the situation. I mean, if they were to re-crack down again, it certainly wouldn't be popular, but it's possible it would happen. So what I want to do is see people not get lazy. Just because 59% of us are on the right side of this now, just because we're seeing some movement in the right direction at the state level, doesn't mean that we can lay back and say, whatever, we're going to win, it's inevitable. No, we still need to do the hard work to get to that point. We still need to raise hell when we don't get our way. And the more we fight, the more likely it is that we're going to reach our goal. But we have to fight. And this is a good first step, or I guess you could argue a second or third step, from Representative Jared Polis and Representative Earl Blumenauer. I don't know if these are going to pass. I have no idea. I doubt it at the moment, but at least we're starting to budge and go in the right direction. It's a good sign.